and record. Okay, perfect. Done that right for a change. That's good. Okay, so thank you for jumping on the call, guys. We've beginning of the new week, also contract rollover week. So we've got a brand new contract we're going to work with, and we also have some additions to the assembly. So for the guys who are jumping on, if you haven't updated to the new assembly, I've actually added in a couple of indicators to that assembly. So jump on and get that. I'm just going to make sure I'm logged onto the video here as well, which is very hard to do for some reason.
Just a quick question, Jason. If we update the assembly, do we lose all the templates?
I'm sorry, say that again?
If we update the assembly, because I didn't know, do we lose the templates?
No, because if you're saving your, strategy, and it's still named the same. So the strategy, whatever the strategy is named, those templates will still stay there. So it's only if the indicators have been renamed or something, then you will lose templates for that.
Okay, thanks.
I just want to hide this video. Just 1 second, hide video. I always forget how to do this. Oh, there we go. Okay, good. So just so we can see the screen, and I should probably just bring up my my documents for the session first. So just give me 1 second. Let me bring that up. I should have this down pat by now, right? Okay, great. So all those interested in the DTB system, most of you have been using the DTB system and are subscribed to the tools, which include over 30 indicators, strategies, and the bar types, as well as all the training educational stuff on our website, on my website. So have a good look through that. The training material to use the tools are there. For the benefit of the guys that signed up for the initial $29 package, you guys are going to have access to these tools, which is really cool. And that's why I've added some extra ones to your package. Okay, so the risk disclosures for trading, they are very important to just read and just keep them in mind. There's a link to them on my website, as well as the video. So that is that. Now, let's have a quick look at what the charts are looking like with the new indicators. So I've just loaded up a simple chart over here, a 5-minute chart, and I'm using Heiken Ashi. You can just use normal 5-minute charts. It doesn't really matter. But the Heiken Ashi, it just shows, it's more fluid, I guess. It does show false openings for the bars, but because we're not trading these specific bars, we're just using these for a visual aspect to see a nice flow of the bars. So the benefit with using any of the time period bars and with these indicators is the shadow trading indicator is going to give you a very clear indication of who is in control of the price. So I've even colored the bars as gold for when the sellers are in control and green for when the buyers are in control. So those settings, if I go into the indicator settings, you're actually going to see the settings in there. So it's also something that can be customized. So there's the shadow trading indicator there. You've also got sound alerts for this indicator. So there's quite a bit of information on this indicator. If you go and look in the properties section of the indicator, you copy and paste this into your browser, it'll bring up a folder with all the tools and all the supporting documentation for the tools. So we've got sound alerts for arrows. So if you notice on the chart, you're going to see these red arrows. At the moment, there's lots of red arrows. And at the bottom, you'll see a cyan arrow. So you can activate sound alerts for those arrows. And you can also activate sound alerts for the divergences. So divergence happens when you have a connected dotted line. So there's a lot of that happening lately. There's been just a huge push up, But sometimes in the day, you're not going to have a huge run of divergences all connected together. You're generally going to have it happen up and down, and at least that gives you an alert for those divergences. You've got a sound interval alert there. So if you set that, it's not going to alert you every 5 seconds if there's a new divergence. So that's what that's in there for. Okay, I have made some of these settings transparent. So you can feel free to work with those, but leave them exactly how they are for now. The default settings is the best setting to use. You can select one difference in the setting. Like I've got the momentum line as one solid color. So like light blue. So if I go and I change the momentum line to say a cyan for up and a, what's the other color? Red. Maybe not red. Well, let's just make it a darker color, maybe like a crimson color. Then what that will do is it will actually color that line also, and will give you a clear representation of when the buyers are in control, when the sellers are in control. So you can do that if you would like. And this is a few different sizes there. This is where I've actually changed the coloring of the bars. So as you can see, you've got the green bars and the gold bars. And what I've actually done, and what some people do, is there's 3 colors for the green bars and 3 colors for the gold bars, depending on where they are on the chart and if they've reached overbuying or overselling. So as soon as the price gets to an extreme high, you can select, for example, that bar shows red. And if it gets to an extreme low, you can make that bar go cyan. So if I do that, it actually highlights those very specific bars. And you can see on the chart the red bars and the cyan bars. So there's a little bit of playing around with this indicator to customize it to how you want to see it. There's also support and resistance lines that you can show. I've got them as not showing them, but that basically shows the levels for these bars. So when this bar turns red, if you activate the resistance line brush, it will show a red line on the chart, but you don't want to have too many lines and stuff on the chart. So we kind of just left it transparent or put those lines off. Okay, so that's a little bit on the shadow trading. I'm actually going to save this as a template. I like the look of that. So I'm going to save it as default and select that. Now, every single time I load this indicator, it's going to keep those exact settings. So that's something that you can do. Ultimate bands. So the ultimate bands is the second indicator, and that's going to basically plot these bands on the chart, and it basically hugs the price as the price moves. And you can often take scalping trades off those bounces in price. And there again, you've got areas of them. So you can see there's a green band on top. So I've just colored that forest green. Again, we've got the gold. I've colored that in gold. And the middle one I've left as transparent. So you can, if you really wanted to, you can make that into a color, and it will shade that. But I just leave it as transparent just so that it shows a clear break of the price. And obviously opacity. You can also have sound alerts for when the price crosses different levels. So they're pretty cool to use. You can go and select those sounds in there. So we'll look at these indicators a bit more in depth as we go through the session. But right now, we can just have a look at it on this chart, and then we'll go through it on our trading chart too as we go through the session. And always look at the far right of the chart when making your trading decisions, because that's where the price is doing its thing. And that is where the momentum line is going to give us a good indication of what that price is doing, where the price is more likely to go. And we'll look at that a bit in depth. Obviously, having the open, having a solid push up, we're not going to have very accurate signals on this type of a setup right now. because it looks like we've just had a major, they've obviously pushed the price up to take out some stops, gone up to the 61.8, and now smashed the price right down. Okay, so that is the YM, the NQ. YM, I've just loaded the same indicators on there. I just haven't got the default settings, but we're seeing the price hover around the 50% on the monthly. I think that's the monthly 50%, and ES up to the 23. So yeah, a bit of reaction around the opening. All right, so let's look at the chart for the optimizer for optimizing our session for today. It's already 10:09:40, so we'll get going on that. But while you guys have got your trading charts running, have a 5-minute chart on the side, add your ultimate bands, add your shadow trading, because that's also going to help guide you of maybe choosing long only or short only based on what this chart is telling you. So that could be a good thing to look at during the session, and we'll try to cover that as much as possible too. Okay, I won't answer any questions about the indicators right now. What we'll do is we can cover that at another time. Let's try and get into our charts for our trading session. And let's bring up our analyzer. So with our strategy analyzer, we've been using the 11:1 bar size. That's what we have been using. I'm going to look at this session. So we'll go from the very top, so just so everybody's on the same page. We're still going to be using true as the time slot. So if you've got any other template loaded from a previous session, you can load that up now, and then we'll just change a few little odds and ends on that. Okay, so the default setting was true for the time slot between 9:30 and 11. So that's what the template would have had. So we're going to keep that. We are going to not select stop ticks, target ticks, and we're not going to select a trailing stop, but we are, however, going to have values inside the trailing stop field. So like there, as an example, I've got 40/40 with an 8 increment. So that just means that when I do activate the trailing stop, these are the values that are going to basically be used. Okay, and we're optimizing 1 to 20, 1 to 20. I'm selecting true as my first repaint, but I'm optimizing the next 3. So you can either have true and optimize, but I'm going to just select optimize on the second one and the third one and the fourth one. We're going to be selecting 12/21 because that's the new contract. And for this session, I'm actually going to run an 8/1. I don't know if I'm thinking it's a bit low, but I'm going to run it for this session on an 8/1. If you guys want to continue with your 11/2, that's fine. I'm going to run the 8/1.
Sorry, what time frame did you put in there, Jason? So you put true for the time slot, and then what time?
9. So the same template as you had before. So 9:30 till 11. So if you've loaded up a previous template, it'll have those pre-populated already. But it's 9:30 till 11 a.m. using the first time slot. Everything else is going to be exactly the same. I'm using 8/1. I'm actually going to save this as a template and post it in the Skype chat. You can copy and paste it into your folder. Then you've got the template exactly like I have it, if you want that. I'm just going to run this and just see what this looks like quickly. 8/1, and I'm going to save this while I'm doing it. So template save, I'm going to call it 12, today's the 13th. Okay, so 13th of September. NQ NinjaTrader, save. All right, so now that I've got that, I'm going to quickly copy and paste that into our Skype chat so that you can click on that Skype chat link. You can find you can right click on that, on the template I'm going to give you, and then go save as, and then save it into your templates folder. So it's a very quick way of actually just getting it into your folder so that you don't have to go and pre-populate all the settings. So I'll quickly do that. Skype, focus group, and I'm going to paste that in there. Okay, so that's in there right now, and I'll switch back to our charts. Okay, so what exactly went out of whack over here? So I selected my time slot. I've selected the date, which is the 12th to the 14th. I might just duplicate this in another tab. This tab seems to be a little bit out of whack. You see, I don't know what's going on over here. So let me just close off that initial tab to see if that wasn't just causing some little issues over there. So close that one, and I have this one here. Okay, let this run. I'm just running through my settings to make sure I haven't missed anything out. 9:30 to 11, so that's fine. Stop targets, that's all done. True, optimize. NQ 1221, NinjaTrader 81. I've also got 8 as the slippage. So whatever bar size you are using, like the brick size for NinjaTrader only, always make sure to use that as your slippage. I've also got 3 entries per direction on this specific one. Okay, so this is a little bit odd. Just give me a second. Let me just see, why are the results so high? And where's my mouse? Oh, goodness. Okay, so that's the chart. Okay, so that is crazy, actually. So that is basically saying that from 9:30 today up until now, that the results are $5,000. Really? Has the price been that hectic? Let's have a look at the trades. Okay, so entry time and exit time, that's what I'm looking at. Okay, so it's saying 9:30 a.m. entry. Those are all positions. So we've had a lot of action, obviously, in the last few minutes. A lot of action. Okay, that's fine. And very interesting at the same time. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up a chart now with an 8-1, exactly like that. And I'm going to reduce the size of this analyzer so it's out the way. And I'm going to bring up a NinjaTrader chart 8-1. So I'm going to go to my control panel and go new chart. Okay, new chart. And I'm going to choose the NQ. And I'm going to choose a NinjaTrader 8 and a 1. And I'm selecting 0 days as the setting. So NinjaTrader 8-1 with 0 days. And I'm going to click on apply. Okay. So there's my chart. And we've got at 9:49, so we've got to be a bit quicker on this. Okay, we're using the sum test 1. I'm just going to quickly reset that. We've got that account. Let me just check. Okay, and while I'm setting this up, I'm just going to reset. I'm going to run the optimization again. I'm going to pop on the indicator there for the Fibonacci levels. So I definitely want to see the Fibonacci levels on this chart. So let me just bring that up. So DTB Fibonacci levels. Which is that one over there, and I'm going to apply that. Okay, we're having it's running a little bit slow, my optimization, especially running a lot faster than that. So I'm just wondering if the optimization on number 2 is just making a delay, because we don't want the price to move so drastically while the optimization is running. It needs to be a bit quicker. It needs to be under a minute in these type of conditions. But if you guys have got your settings already, especially if you've been on this call a few times, you'll know exactly how to get your charts running and your settings going. Definitely jump onto that. I'll let this finish just in case I click on something and it stops responding. But I'm definitely going to run this again afterwards with true on there and optimize. So this should be very quick. So 1600 should be 30-40 seconds maximum. So as soon as that's done, I'm going to apply these settings and then we can get going from there. Still taking a bit long for my liking, but that's okay. We will run this as it comes up. I'll just check the settings. Okay, so template and save. And I'm going to select this as my 13, and I'm going to call this trading chart. I'm going to try to be faster with this trading chart. Okay, save. Go to my chart itself, go to strategies, pop on that strategy that we selected, and load that template. So template load, and I've called it the 13th trading chart like that. And immediately I'm going to select my account that we're working with. Go enable, apply, and okay. Compare that to my chart. So if you look at my strategy analyzer, it says 4012, 4012. So that is they're both matching exactly like they should. Okay, so we've had the price come down below the 38.2, came back to retest it. So nice little bounce off that for right now, that is. I've got wait until flat synchronize account. I'm also going to activate my trading stop. So if you click on the button on the strategy, that's going to make sure that you have a trading stop attached to any position that gets entered. All right. Now we did have much higher values when we selected optimize as the second and third value earlier. But I've selected just true and true just to help it run a bit faster on my side. I'm just closing off some other unnecessary windows so I don't have too many things on the go. All right. And while that's running, I'm going to run another optimization. So you can run as many optimizations as you want. Now, we run a lot of optimizations on this because we're using a very small amount of data that we're analyzing. We're not analyzing a huge chunk of data. If you were analyzing a whole week of data, you wouldn't be running optimization every 5 minutes, you know, when you're running the strategy like this. And just let us know what you guys are using, how things are going your side as the session progresses. That'll be good. It's a bit too early to look at the indicator itself, like the shadow trading. It's just been so much action initially. So it'll probably be good to wait for that to find its rhythm first and then start working on that with regards to directional trading and all that. So according to the strategy, the last position that it entered was sell positions over here. See over here? So the strategy, we had wait until flat synchronized. So that was the sell, the last sell. Now it's got its first buy position. So if you look at that, that is the first buy position of the strategy since it's basically moved. So now with this, you can go and trail your price as much as you want. It's going to automatically trail anyway. So that's our first position after we activated the strategy. We did move the target up a little bit. I'm going to just bring it down a little bit below this brick wall. Okay, so that automatically switched over anyway. Okay, so a little bit of action at the moment, a little bouncing around this level. So we're at a 61.8 and a 76.4. So very strong Fibonacci levels right at this specific point. It's also a option to pause around very strong levels, if that's especially if the price is going to be bouncing around. I'm going to let these run, but while that's going, I'm going to just make sure I keep optimizing over here. Well, I'm expecting a lot of trades on this bar size because it is a much smaller bar. I'm actually going to deactivate my trailing stop on this. So prices come below the 76 again. Struggling to find direction around here. So while that's running, I'm just going to continue running optimization just to make sure that we are in the best settings possible still. So the benefit, the problem of having a trailing stop is the last position was in a sell and it hit its trailing stop, and now the price is coming below that level. So that's often what trailing stops do to that. So like that would have been in a winning position right now, around that level. Coming back to retest the 76.4. So if we look at the Fibonacci levels indicator, that is going to tell us that that pink is the daily Fibonacci levels. And the white one is the hourly Fibonacci levels. So the settings that I've got selected are still showing the top of the list. So I'm not going to be adjusting that. I'm just looking at this, looking at what's happening around there. So we up to 400, almost 500 there, 600, 600, 600, 700, almost. So that's a beautiful rundown over there. It's almost $1,000 actually on this trade alone. That's over $700-800 on that move. We're still in that sell. Now we're in a buy position. So you see how that entered a long position. Now it's entered a sell. Now long. It's going freaking crazy at the moment. We've probably got a little bit out of whack here with this is just cosmetic. These entries plotted over here. That's not actually where they entered. Sometimes the chart can basically get ahead of itself, and they won't be showing correctly. So if you want a template for this, it's in the folder that I just saved. So you got to join the Skype chat. Okay, so I'm going to just run this optimization again and just see what that's coming up with. So we had some really, really good winning positions. We had some small losing ones over here. The little bit of bouncing around. I'm not liking the speed of these optimizations. They should be going a lot quicker than what they are at the moment.
Jace, those moves were insane. I think I'm using the 11.2 and my optimization is slightly different to what the settings I had, but it was still working. I'm probably about $900 up.
Yeah. So I mean, this is a good time to say, cheers, I'm done, you know. But yeah, we had incredible results from the very beginning of the session. It's been showing extremely high results on this. In fact, I think I might just pause this now because I actually saw a new setting come up.
Well, 11.2, I was actually about $600 down at one point because it
went crazy in the beginning, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of jumping around in the beginning. That's why it's so important just to continue to run optimizations, because we want to try and be in the heartbeat of the market. And obviously, I've got a very small bar size, which is putting a lot of data through this. So yeah, I might actually have to switch to a larger bar size because these optimizations are taking too long to run. So let me just do that actually, just to be safe. So I'm immediately going to switch to that 11.2. So notice now when I switch to an 11, so when I switch to like an 11.2, I immediately go and select 11 as the slippage on here. Where are you? 11. And then I'm going to run that. And hopefully this goes a lot quicker. And then I'm going to go to my trading chart and go and choose 11.2 on there. Be interesting to see what this what these settings say, even though I'm not, these are the old settings from the old bar size. Let me just see what it says on the chart. Okay, so I'm going to go and save this. So template, save. I'm going to save this as my trading chart for the 13th. Okay, yes. And I'm going to go to my strategy over here and disable this quickly. And then go template, load 13th. Enable, apply, okay, quickly check my values. Yes, happy with that. So even on that, there's been some beautiful trades on the 11.2. So look at that, some beautiful long running positions. So maybe I was a bit silly going for an 8.2, giving myself more work. But you don't actually know what the session is going to be doing. You know, sometimes that bar size will work, but we have had a lot of crazy action in the beginning. Since the very beginning, we've had some very long bars since the beginning of the session. So I think that might be a precursor of what was going to happen. Anyway, there we are. Okay. So now we're in our first sell trade. So you can see we've had some really good success even with these settings. We've had small little losing positions, but some really good running positions. So that is nice to see. And you can have whatever target you want. So if you want to target $100 or $200, you can actually put that in your settings. And for most people, you only need 2 or 3 trades to go your way, and then you've made your market for you've made your whatever you require for the session or for the day even. I might just make this text on here a little bit bigger. It seems to be a bit small. Let's make it like 16. A bit bigger, so now you can see a bit more of the text on there. I might just take off on the data series the text for the things and just leave markers, just so it's a little bit neater on the page. There we go. And what I suppose I can also do to make it more visually visible for the guys watching is go to the plotting of the position. So these little lines and plots over here for the trades, I can leave that the colors that they are, but just make it like a 3. Okay, so that just shows the lines a bit better. Okay, so looking at this specific trading chart, we've got a nice gap below the price, not too much of a gap above. So I don't know, I think this could be a situation where this price could be going down. So what is going on here? Let's see, 400, I don't like that. We're coming to the 50. I'm just going to pause that one. I don't want to continue with that. I'm going to run this optimizations again. So as soon as it gets a little bit out of whack, it's a matter of pausing the strategy, run your optimization again. But hopefully by this time you're actually done for the session anyway. You're basically done for, you've accomplished what you wanted to accomplish. I don't know what the hell's going on in the market right now, but this push that they are doing, it seems to just be a one-sided type of a thing, pushing straight down. I mean, I do have a news indicator, but I don't think there was a news related type of thing that came out. Okay, so I'm just continually watching my settings over here and just checking that these are fine. So I'm going to save this template. So template save. Call this my 13th trading chart, like this, and then come to here. So even though the settings look the same, there could just have been some repaints that are slightly different. So that's why I'm going to just load this up and see what it looks like. Don't know why I'm getting a bit of a lag again, but I will just see what's going on there. Okay, so a little bit late in changing those settings to the new values, but that's okay. So how have things progressed on your guys' charts? Is Eduardo still there? Are you there? How are things going on your side, Eduardo? If you're around. Okay, it might be on a call or something. So we've come right to the 50% of the hourly Fibonacci level. So this is the 50 level that we're on right now. Oh, and it's going right through. Okay. It may still be a bounce off it, so we'll have a look.
Wow, I am.
Hi, Eduardo. How's it going?
Okay, though.
So very tricky, very strange position this, because this 50%, it should bounce. Okay, it has bounced off there nicely. So that's been a strong level on a few different occasions earlier. Look, it came to the 50%, came to the 50%, came to the 50% a few times. So that looks like a nice bounce off that level. But who knows, it might just be a temporary thing. And then it's gone changed over anyway. I'm still kind of thinking this is a bounce off that 50. My optimizations are not running as fluid as they had been before. Although this one looks like it's going a bit faster, so that should be okay. As long as it's like under a minute, that's fine, which is only 40 seconds. Good. Okay. So the good thing over there, I'm just going to pause over there just because my settings over here have given us a slightly different indication of what's happening with the market. It's obviously picked up too much movement in price around that level. So even though the 9.4 is still coming up on the list, it's just showing a lot of like bouncing around that price. That's why the value has filtered down the list. So this could be a time to switch over to a different value. So I'm going to just look at what these are saying. I'm trying to find one that has got the most recent. Oh, that's a lot of trades. I don't want to have a thing with a lot of trades. Sorry, it's a bit small on the screen, guys, if you're watching. So 212, I'm going to run this one. Yes, a template, save. And I'm going to call this a trading chart like that. So even though it's showing a lot more trades, all the last ones have actually been very successful. All the last trades on this template or on this optimization have been successful. So I'm going to load this up on here. So template, load, 13th trading chart. With a few small little ones around here. And while that's in, I'm going to just delete the previous templates. So we've got the 12 ones, which are just getting me a little confused. So I'm going to just remove those out of the way. Oops. Okay. And then run this again. So all of these are showing as down at the moment. Or as sell position, should I say? They're all showing as sells. That's flicked over to a buy, which is probably going to come back and retest the 50. So not too much I can do right now other than just run these optimizations and just check if anything's really sticking up at us. giving us some good results, but we're bound to get a little bit of an upward move over here. Even if it's, especially if the price stays above this 50. Okay, so beautiful run so far up this one. Remember, at any stage you can pause your strategy. So if I pause it over there, it will exit that position. And then if I press start again, it will act on the next signal. So that's another way. If you don't have a trailing stop attached to your position, like we've got over here, just by pausing it, it will exit, but it won't close your strategy. It'll just be like, it'll just take your position that you're in, close it off, and then act on the next signal that comes up, which over there works beautifully because immediately at that point, there was a turnaround. At this stage, you can also say, I only want to have long positions. I know it seems a bit crazy to only want to go into long positions, you know, when the price is shooting down like that. But that is, you know, one of the options that is on there. I believe that it's broken through the 50. Often it breaks through a strong level like that. Like it's only 58 ticks, but still a decent value. It's good to see where these candles close though. So if you're looking at the Fibonacci levels, if you're seeing where those candles are closing, like that one closed on the 50% Fibonacci. So not an extremely powerful signal to say that that's a definite bounce up, but it definitely seems that it's holding above that 50% for right now. Now notice how I had long only over there. So what happened, entered a long position and then it came to a sell signal, but it didn't enter a sell trade because I've got a long only. So this is how you can also be in control of a specific direction that you want to enter. So, so like now it's entered another long position. So it will run this trade. If the signal switches over to a sell, it won't enter an opposing trade. So this is a good way to stop zigzagging of trades. So you still want to have a direction in mind, but not have like buy, sell along a specific level. So time now is 10:23. So so I'm going to switch this to short only. We're getting a clear rundown, obviously. That's what the charts have been showing us. But I still think this 50% is going to play in our is going to play in what the price is doing. So we're at the 50% Fibonacci on the hourly chart. It hasn't closed below that yet. We've only had wicks that have gone below that 50%. So if that has to close below, then we're probably going to have a rundown, even at least to the 61.8. So I'll move this out the way again. So there I've got short only as my trading direction. but yeah, as I thought, this 50% is holding. So that's ideally where I probably should have stuck with it to go the long only. I'm going to keep on the long only and just see what that is going to present. I'm just looking at this 5-minute chart again. I know there's a lot of lines and stuff on there. It could be quite overwhelming, but it's also something that you could limit the amount of lines on that chart. So if you want to remove some of these Fibonacci levels, you can certainly do that, especially if you are trading longer term charts. For this session, we can't ever have them on because they are, going to be beneficial in this. But we're also at a stage now where there's a lot of levels. There's a lot of levels here at this price. But you can go into your indicator settings and you can go and choose which levels you want to show. So if you only want to show, the daily Fibonacci levels and the 4-hour Fibonacci levels. Actually, let's leave the daily off. Let's just show the 4-hour and the 1-hour Fibonacci level. So you can go uncheck the rest. And if you apply that, it's only going to show you those ones. Now, our shadow trading indicator is giving us a type of a situation over here where the momentum line is flattened out. We've got a lot of candles that are showing oversold. We're getting a lot of arrows starting to face up. So we're probably due for a correction anytime soon. So that's why I've kept it as long only, you see. So I've got it as long only at the moment. And it's not obviously perfect because the momentum line is below the price. Normally when that momentum line switches over above the price, that gives us a very clear indication that price is going to be going up. But seeing these oversold candles, seeing these arrows over here, this is telling me that at any moment we're going to be expecting a jump up. Sometimes it does help to look at a tick chart instead of the 5-minute chart. So I'm going to I'll make this a different value chart to just see what that looks like. So let's make this let's just go to the data series and make this a analytical bars strategy, and even like a 22 and a 22. And I'll obviously take off the details from the data series to not show all the text and markers. All right. Okay, that should give it a moment to load. So you notice how this is only taking long positions now, you see? So it hasn't taken any sell positions since I did that. Now, this was obviously the last one over there, but it's only taking long positions because we are definitely due for that bounce up in this price. So let's have a look at that chart. It's still loading. Okay, so I'll watch that on the side and just see how that looks. So there, it basically, so that would have been a sell position. If I had left that into both long and short, that would have been in a sell position. So that's what you kind of are doing by restricting your specific direction of movement. Now, in this case, it obviously wasn't very beneficial because this would have been in a long run, in a long winning position now, but we're selecting that preference of direction. Now, the thing is, I'm below this 50%. So the price broke up, it's come below again. So a little bit tricky where this is going to be going. I'm going to bring up my longer term chart. So we haven't looked at this yet, but this is a good time to look at that. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. So one of the things with the shadow trading indicator, it's going to give you an indication of who's in control of the price. So right now we've got the momentum line way above the price. We're starting to have a lot more green bars than gold bars. So this is definitely a situation where we should be in long only positions. So starting the strategy, long only, I'm going to have this open and watch what this does. So we've had all these divergences over here now, and if you scroll back in the chart, you're actually going to notice how that momentum line switched above price. It's a little bit iffy at the moment because we still got a mixture of gold and green bars, but as long as this momentum line stays way above the price, this is going to pull this price up beautifully. So this is a telling indicator of where price is going to be going. So right now, we are 1032. And like I said, as long as this momentum line stays way above price and doesn't show downwards, because as soon as it shows a major downwards trajectory, then we're going down again. But what we're looking at here is a flattening out of this momentum line in this area. And we want to see more green bars than gold bars. And that means that this price is going to be going up. So it works on per tick. So if you're watching this chart and you are looking at the bars changing color between green and gold, it is per tick. So as soon as it goes above the zero, so if you look at this momentum line, it's got a number attached to it. So as long as that is above zero, it's plus, it's going to be green. So at this stage of, if you were doing manual trading right now, this will be a very high probability type of a situation of the price rising up. Because you've got that momentum line that is facing upwards, it's way above the price. You've got more green bars now than gold bars. And at least for this moment, we've got a rise up. So these are the type of signals that this indicator gives you. And it gives it to you in real time. So look at that momentum line, how that is shooting up. So that is pulling that price up. It's like a magnet. It's like a magnet for the price, that momentum line. So, but now notice there how we had an arrow. So we got an arrow, a red arrow. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that the price is going to be going down, but it does mean that, what happened there exactly? Oh, it had a sell signal, so it closed off that position. But it does mean there's going to be a temporary reversal in price, and that's exactly what happened. So if you watch the shadow trading indicator in real time, you're going to notice that those arrows are extremely, extremely accurate, and especially if they are around Fibonacci levels. So I would love to see another cyan arrow coming up here first before that entry was actually entered, because now we're having the momentum line facing downwards. So if you were in a long position, when you're seeing a red arrow like that and you're seeing that momentum line shift direction facing down, it's just a time to exit for now. Doesn't mean that the trend going up is over. It just means that right now we're going to be in a little bit of a downtrend until we have that momentum line shift its angle again to be going up. So we're just bouncing around these Fibonacci levels at this very moment. There's another long signal, probably a little bit early if I was entering manually, because we've got gold bars now. The last bars have been gold. But if we see a little arrow pop up here and these bars start going green and that momentum line switching up, which looks like it's doing, we should be okay. Now, you're not always going to have arrows on every single time that the price comes down. But yeah, and also this momentum line is kind of a switch. It's still tapering down. So it's a very good thing to watch. And it happens tick by tick. So you'll notice that this is going to happen tick by tick. And when the price is moving very fast, that's when these it's going to be a bit tricky to judge the entry times. And maybe in this type of situation, you could use limit orders. You can say, well, if the price reaches over this level, I'm going to enter a position. And then you can set your stop at a decent price below the level. So if you put a limit order over there, and you put your where we are, you could put your stop like below this arrow. So that's a good place to put a stop, is below the arrow. And then at least you're not going to be, you can be rather getting into a position at a decent point. But as soon as these bars start predominantly turning green, this is a buyer's market. The buyers are in control of that price. And right now it seems like that is what it wants to do. So the bar coloring definitely makes a nice, it definitely helps it just become more visually aware of where more likely is price going to be going. So that's why at this stage, I'm happy just to have long only positions, because to me, there's a very, very high chance that this price is actually going to be going up. And I will know that this move is over when this momentum line comes very close to price. If we start having more red arrows over here too, and we're not getting more highs, then I would say this is a time to get out. But right now, as you can see, there's more green bars on the chart. We do have a 23 fib in the way. It's not an extremely powerful one. This 50 fib is definitely a much stronger level than that 23.6. The next very strong level that we'll probably be looking out for is this one over here. So I'm expecting this price to come up in this vicinity here. And I would even say, so not higher, not too much higher than that, but where's the bottom of this thing? I would say it's going to come up to about over there at least. So that is where I'm expecting it to go, but it really has to break through this 23.6. Now remember, we're looking at a 22 chart over here. So this isn't the chart that we've got our automated strategy loaded on. Each bar that we're looking at is 22 ticks. So even if you are looking at scalping this market and you want to go 1 or 2 bars, that's already 44, 66, 88 ticks in that small little move over there. So now we've got divergences above, okay? So we've got to be a little bit careful at this stage. It doesn't mean, though, that this price is definitely going to be going down because this momentum line is shooting up. But it probably is a good time to move your stops a little bit closer. As we saw earlier, that momentum line on the smaller chart, I mean, these divergences, you could have a situation like on the left over here where it's pushing up to those higher highs. But there we've had a sell signal on the automated strategy anyway. So we've got that automated strategy still running in the background, which has been doing exceptionally well. Look, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 positions in a row successful there. And I haven't even run optimization on those, on that strategy. So, so the key with this indicator, with the shadow trading indicator, is to make sure you've got your red line down the side of the chart. And that's going to just make sure that everything is positioned correctly. Because if you've got that momentum line, that red line in the wrong place, and you're squeezing the price like this, that momentum line is in the wrong place. So I specifically put that red line in play over there at exactly that point, because I know that that is where the momentum line should be. Now, the momentum line is not tied to the price. A lot of indicators, you have moving averages that are tied to price. This is a very different type of moving average. It's actually not a moving average at all, actually. That's why it's a free floating line that's just giving a overall sense of the market. And that's why, you know, we have to make sure that it's positioned correctly on the chart. So over here, we've got a strong momentum line upwards direction, but we are having more red candles over here. So a little bit, I would probably just exit the position until I know exactly what's happening around the 23.6, because this could prove to be a strong level. This 23.6, which it has looked like it has been before, because it came close by previously, and it's now come again and it's just touched it. So you're going to find that the Fibonacci levels, price is going to come very close to those levels, and if it doesn't break through, it's going to be a bounce off. Yes, earlier we had this 50% come into play, but that kind of just broke through and above and below. It just had a lot of mist, you know. We didn't quite know what was going to happen there. But this, to me, I probably think we're going to see a little bit of a downshift again, maybe even back to this 50%. Momentum line changing direction a little bit. You know, it's maybe a little bit soon to know for sure, but I would more than likely be out of a long position right now if I was in a long position. Because as you can see, those arrows very, 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 very often will tell you the direction of that price. And even if you scroll back on the chart, all of these arrows that you're seeing here, they stay in place. They're not going to repaint afterwards. So some of them are going to be extremely accurate. Others are going to show divergences where there's a solid push in price. So all in all, it's also an extremely powerful scalping indicator, this shadow trading indicator. I haven't been monitoring the YouTube too much. So there's nothing on there. No questions. Okay. So this momentum line, you see it's starting to just flatten out a bit and even show a little bit of a downwards trajectory right at this moment. Doesn't mean it's going to stay like that. It's going to be very telling in the next few bars what's going to happen. So you guys can go look at that chart on your own. I'm gonna continue running these. It's 10:45. I haven't even changed the time of the the optimization, but right now, this would have been a good time to look at that chart. See, now as this momentum line starts coming a lot closer to price, that's also a telling factor that this price is likely to come to a reversal, but probably not before it goes to where it's going to go, which was in this block over here. So looking at that level, another thing, it's don't go and move the chart up and down. If you do, always click on this F. So the momentum line is still facing up nicely. Now we're getting a major overbought. So that red bar that's forming now, that's saying that it's an overbought type of a situation. So if you took this little run up after this confirmed breakout above the 23, I would be tightening up stops at this stage. But the good thing is, is you've also got to see that there's nothing really stopping the price between the 23.6 and the 61.8. There's no strong Fibonacci levels there at all. So that kind of gives the price a bit of a run to the next number. We did remove some of those Fibonacci levels earlier. So with those main ones over here, not too much stopping this price from going up there. But look at this momentum line. See, that momentum line is right with the price right now. So you can see earlier. Now, if I scroll back on the chart, the good thing about this indicator is if you scroll back on the chart, it actually shows you where the momentum line was at the time you took the decision. So it's exactly where it was. So that's the cool thing about this, is you can actually scroll back on a chart to see where was the momentum line. And exactly where you saw it in history is where it is in real time. And as you can see, it's moving, and it's now coming right with the price. Now it's with the price, you see. But again, there was nothing really stopping it after this 23. So look, it's come within that zone, which I thought it was going to do. And that's just purely because it broke above the 23.6. I wouldn't have really said that for definite if I didn't see those Fibonacci levels in place. But that is how incredibly special having the Fibonacci levels as a tool in your toolbox, combining with the shadow trading indicator. There's literally nothing like it. There's nothing like it at all. So the next powerful level is the 61.8 on the hourly chart. So we're already at a stage now where we're overbought. So we're more than likely probably going to see a bounce in this area here between the 38 to 61, close to this. So we're very close to those levels now. We've had the momentum line switch below price. So when the momentum line switches below price, it means that there is a reversal coming. It may not happen immediately, but ideally we want to see we want to see this momentum line deviate from price as it did earlier over here. So what generally happens is this price will make some more highs, make some new highs, but that momentum line will start creeping down. And that will start telling us there's a very good chance this price is reversing. So like I'm in a long position now, but that's because I haven't been managing the strategy. But immediately that is a signal for you to say, I am not going to be going no more long positions, you see, no more long positions. So And it also actually doesn't mean right now I should be going short either. I mean, it doesn't mean I should be going short either, because we still haven't got a very, very clear signal from this indicator to tell us that there's enough deviation from price to tell us that this is going to be coming down. So if you were watching a few minutes ago, seeing this price having a nice strong deviation from the momentum line, that is your key to say, I'm going to go long only. Right now, yes, we've got the momentum line facing right down, but it's still very close to price. So very, 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 very often what happens is the momentum line will face down like it is, but then this price will go up and make new highs. It happens time and time and time again. And all that's doing are these banks and institutions that all they're trying to do is take out stops. They know that they want to push this price down. Okay, this momentum line tells you their true intention. Okay, but the price is showing what they're trying to do to take out stops. So that's why more often than not, at least 70% of the time, this momentum line is going to be your guide as to where that price is more likely to be going. Good. Okay, so how have you guys been going on your sessions? How's your automated strategies been going?
Okay, mine was on fire. I am up 1,700. So pretty happy about it.
Good. And what bar size were you working on?
Let me be honest. I put it on a different bar that I have
Yeah.
And
that's fine.
It's called a Dino bar. It's not a. It's a.
Oh, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what bar you use. That's fine.
Yeah, it's a different Dino bar, and it's been on fire, man.
Magic. I'm very happy.
It just broke 1,900, and it's pretty impressive.
Nice. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, so the good thing about this strategy is you don't have to use it only on the DTB bars. You can use them on NinjaTrader, which is NinjaTrader's, that company made them. And you can use volume bars, you can use a few other things. So I just got a question on YouTube saying, Adam, my fibs, Jason, my fibs don't match exactly as yours. Yes, so yours will not match if you haven't got enough data loaded. So just load today's data. If you have got a specific trading hours template loaded, that is going to impact your Fibonacci levels. Because remember, it has to be able to pick up like today's data, not just very specific trading hours. So if you're limiting your indicator by specific trading hours, that's all it's got to work with. So load up 1 day or 0 days, even if you load up a chart with 0 days, but you are using instrument settings like we've done over here. So if you go data series and go instrument settings, I've got a few days over here. That's okay. But I mean, even if you just load up, 1 day or whatever, it's going to basically show you those levels. So work on that, and you should be good. Okay, so like I was saying, I mean, you can go and use your volume. You can go and use volume bars. Like a volume bar is another cool one to use. Even just using 1,000 volume bar, that's going to give you. And you'll see that the optimization runs super quick on the volume bars. And there we go. That's given you a few signals. So if you were running this optimization since 9:30 and it's showing one massive long trade, you activated that, you would have been in some good trades already. So it's volume bars. Just be very mindful. Some bars, though, they're very difficult to work with, and especially the NinjaTrader, you've got to make sure that your slippage matches your bar size. I put 11 there, but I don't think that made too much of a difference on the volume bars. But there's a few different bars that Heikin Nashi, don't even bother using Heikin Nashi. There's no way that any strategy works with Heikin Ashi. It's 100% inaccurate. And that's because every bar opens halfway up the bar. So you're never going to get any accurate results running Heikin Ashi on a strategy analyzer. They should actually remove that from there. I don't even know why the hell they have it there. I suppose they have to have it because it's a bar type. But, you've definitely, obviously your DTB bars, your analytical bars are really good. So if you're using an 8 and an 8 bar, just have your slippage as a 3. And that's going to give you, the right settings there. So let's just have a look for interest stakes at our 5-minute chart. And while I'm doing that, how about you, Stuart? How have your trades been running this session?
Hi, Jason. Just from my point of view, I've used 11.2 bar size. I've gone from settings of 8, 10, 7, 11 to 8. It was good initially, got some big long runs. Then it had a position where I got to about $400-500 down from $600 up. And I manually paused it literally 2 or 3 minutes ago. And on the final settings of 8, 10, and I've finished 621 US after provisions up.
Okay, cool. So a little bit up and down.
It's a mixed bag. It's been up and down, but
yeah,
we finished up.
Okay, good. And then, but maybe have a look, like now that we looked at this chart as an example to show you what price is likely to be doing. Might be a good option to look at that to be able to choose your directional trades. And, if you get a session where it's absolutely crazy with the price like it has, you can switch to a larger bar size, and trade that. Now, as an example, look over here. We've got our gold bars that have just formed. The momentum line is facing right down. It's not enough gold bars right now to give me like a full indication that this price is running down immediately. Because as I said earlier, very, very often we're going to have this price bounce up and often it goes just up a little bit higher than it went before to take out stops. But this momentum line is your key to tell you that this is more than likely coming down. Good. Well, it looks like you guys have had a decent session. And thanks for being on the call. There may be some cool things to watch afterwards, if you want to rewatch parts of the session, especially going through the shadow trading indicator. I think it's very good to watch that in real time. So if you guys can, just load up your indicator like this, watch what the chart does. You could even watch it in playback. Playback's also a good thing to watch, the indicators in action, to see how they use their signals and what they do. And then go from there.
Awesome, Jason. Thank you so much.
Great. It's a pleasure. And thanks for giving up your time too to be on these calls. And every day is progressing. We're going to be switching over to live accounts very soon. We've taken a lot longer trading our sims than I really wanted to. It was supposed to only be 2 weeks to get everybody up to speed with it. But I think we're very, very close to be switching over to our live accounts and funded accounts and go from there.
Jason, I'm very keen to talk to you about the Asia Open because I've been working on that quite a lot, and I'm getting a bit of a mixed bag of results, and I've tried all sorts of different things. So if you've any point got 10-15 minutes just for a Zoom or a Skype, that would be helpful.
Okay, we can look at that. Okay, good stuff. I'll message you separately on that and we'll go from there. Cool. Okay, thank you guys for being on the call, and we shall chat to you. We'll be on tomorrow at the same time. Okay.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Jason.
All right. Bye-bye then.